Yes, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Football Philosophy Podcast. As you guys know, my name is Abdi. And guys, I have to say, thank you so much to every single one of you. You guys have been absolutely amazing with your support. It's been overwhelming, to be honest with you. The first interview that I've done with Dale was just, the response that you guys have given us was just amazing. Now I've decided to do another interview, and I promise you this, you guys are going to love this interview. Kojo really knows what he's talking about. So this video is going to be really educational, and I absolutely loved his story and the plans that he has in the future where he wants to become a professional football coach. So whether you are an aspiring football coach or whether you're a parent who's looking to get their kids into the professional game, this video is going to be really, really beneficial. And some of the topics that I've covered with Kojo, it doesn't just apply to football. It like things like hard work, things like time management, just simple elements that are very, very important in day-to-day lives. It doesn't matter if your field is in football or wherever your field is, the elements and the things that Kojo is talking about, you can really apply in your life as is. So for the next 50 minutes or so, stop whatever you're doing, just sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and enjoy this video.
I don't think any person can have a great relationship with any of their players at any level if they don't build something personal. The education I got there in a year was worth 6 of the years that I got hit for a break. And I always say, if you ain't got a passion for something, if you jump into it, you're never going to feel it. I love football. I love football with my heart and my soul.
Yes, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Football Philosophy Podcast. My name is Abdi, and this is the In The Zone. This is the program where I sit down with football coaches, try to understand the mindset of what makes a great coach. With me today is Kojo. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be on here. Obviously, I came here last week. We spoke about some games, about some of the clubs in general. I'm happy to now be here talking about this as well. So hopefully I do you justice, man. Hopefully I do you justice.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you will, mate. You know what? Yeah, this program is all about football coaches. You know what makes a great football coach, grassroots football, all of that, because the importance of just having that development, that style from grassroots football all the way to the professional game is really crucial. And we've seen it in later years, players like Jamie Vardy coming through. Right now, you can see Ollie Watkins, Shea Adams, it's very, very important. And then you look at, Super League, all of that. We're going to get into that in a bit. But I wanted our listeners to get to know you. You have, you're a fully licensed football coach. You've been coaching for so many years now. You've also got your own football podcast, which I'm absolutely in love with. Guys, if you want your Premier League football full coverage, just proper, professionally done, this guy, his podcast is yours to be. Kojo, the floor is yours. Go for it.
Now that you say it's been years, I think it's been exactly 10 years now. Yeah, it's been exactly 10 years since I started coaching. Which is one of them things where I've always had a passion for football. My dad used to call me manager, as well as my uncles, because I think from the age of 7 or 8, I used to sit down with them and watch football religiously. So all my cousins would be there as well. But when they get involved in the conversation, if I heard something, I always had the confidence to just talk back with them and get involved. And I've always said one day in life that I wanted to be part of football. Obviously, as kids, we say I want to be a footballer or something. For me, it was just I want to do something within football. Obviously, I didn't make it as a footballer. Truth be told, when I went to college, I was looking to do accounting. And I missed out by 10 UCAS points. Not that many points, small points. So I'm sitting there in clearing and I'm thinking, what can I do? There's something I need to do something. So I'm going through all the universities that I could go for. Of course, they would accept me because I got enough points. But then it's like something in my head was like, you know what? Just type in football and see what happens. I thought, you know what? Let's go for it. And to my luck, it's complete luck, but I'll say that I was blessed. So I found this. I found sports psychology and football coaching with Arsenal. I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting. So I clicked it, and I saw that you didn't have to apply through UCAS. You send an email, tell them your results, and then they'll tell you what to do there. So obviously,
you don't even have to apply through UCAS to get there.
No. So essentially, what they said to me was, look, we'll send you an email. Send us an email. We'll reply to you, tell you what we want from you. and then we'll go from there. But in my head, I was like, I haven't done anything in college that has anything to do with coaching or sports in general or psychology. But let's go for it anyway. Why not? I did it within 5 minutes. And then Sefton, who's now at MBE, I believe, because he's done Arsenal the community work for over, God knows, I'll say over 30 years, sent me an email back saying, okay, send me an email, a PowerPoint of this current club situation. I won't tell you which club. It's not Arsenal, but another club situation. What you would do with it as a coach, with the players, all of that. Just make it quick, make it simple as simple as you can, and send it through to me. I did that, and within 20 minutes, I checked my phone. I got an email response from him. Said, "Here's a link. Click this link. It will take you to our website. It will apply to the university through us." And within 24 hours, I was straight in there. So I was one of the lucky ones to have my big break with a huge club. That's Arsenal. On any level, your first club being Arsenal was like, wow, that's incredible. It's almost like Arteta being first manager. His first managerial job is Arsenal. So I got lucky in that sense. And because I got lucky in that, from there, in my head, I was like, not many people have that opportunity to jump into such a big spot and then go from there. So there's no way I could ever stop it from there. So ever since then, goodness, I've coached in so many places. I've worked as someone with Spurs. I worked at Arsenal 5 years. 5 years. I had my own team in Hillingdon for a year and a half.
Which team is that?
ACS Hillingdon. So it's more of a it's like a varsity sort of thing. And we finished third in my full season there, which was great for me and the team.
Yeah, I used to live in Hayes for about 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know about anything, yeah. So I was there for a bit as well. And sorry. Excuse me. Wow. Yeah. So
bless you.
Thank you. So after that, it was just I've been in and out of football since, and then I spent a year in Spain. I came back because of COVID. Unfortunately, COVID broke everything down. But we'll delve into that bit by bit, I'm sure, the questions you asked me. But yeah, that was my start. That's my break. And I always say, if you ain't got a passion for something, if you jump into it, you're never going to feed it. I love football. I love football with my heart and my soul. So when it comes to coaching, if someone tells me to come and coach, I am there in a heartbeat. If someone comes to come and play, even playing now, it's weird because my boys go to Power League and this is opened and I go there. And of course I'll play, but I've got the coaches mindset in my mind, and I'm watching them and I'm telling guys, I'm telling my own boys, do this, do that, go here, because I have such a passion for coaching. If you don't have a passion for coaching, you're never going to enjoy it. It's never going to fulfill you. So
absolutely, yeah. What was it like? I want to get to your time in Spain. That was football related, yes?
Yes.
I'm going to get into that because that's really important that you had a year abroad. It's very crucial to do that. I wanted to understand what it was like to go through that process and who was instrumental for you in your coaching career so far, like growing up.
So in terms of people I have worked with, definitely Alan Sefton was number one, because you have someone who's been within Arsenal for over 30 years plus, all the experience in the world, and he really just taught me what it meant to be a coach. And I don't know how the best way to elaborate that is, but it's essentially, what I was talking about with passion, that's one thing, but it's the idea of when you wake up and how you have football in your head, and when you go to bed you have football in your head, and it sounds like an obsession, but it isn't. What it means is that in everything that you do, if you want to be the best at something, you're driven, and even though things in life will happen, that thought will always be in your mind. There's always going to be a time where you think about your coaching, even on holiday, even on this. And he really eased me and all the other people that were in that course in. He eased us in. He had 2 other coaches with him. And every week, Monday to Friday, without fail, they eased us in. When we had tickets for games, they take us to games with them, but sit with them and let us learn from them whilst we're watching. Let us see the training from the senior to the under 18s to the academy. It was a dream come true. The second person is a man called Andrew. He works. He's a PE teacher, but he's also a football coach, and he has his own team at the moment called Central Park Stars, All Stars, sorry. And he used to be a former footballer. He used to play for Fulham as a kid. And the reason why he's an inspiration for me is because everyone meets a character in their life that really brings their energy and their drive back. There was a period of time where I was sort of losing my drive to coach. Sometimes you need a break, sometimes like maybe like a Pep Guardiola took a break for a year because he was tired or something like that. I was knackered. I had coached consistently for 7 years, no breaks through Easter, no breaks through summer, no breaks through even the Christmas holidays. I was coaching consistently, so I was losing my drive. But when you meet a character, you meet someone that has passion for it and excitement for it, but also teaches you how to sort of handle your time properly. So that was one thing I was bad at. Because I wanted to coach so much, I was organized, but I had given my workload too much. He had taught me how to manage my workload to make sure that I could still relax. Because if I feel relaxed and I feel calm and I've got time to rest, when I go back into the pitch to train or to coach, I will never be exhausted mentally or physically. And he brought that into me. And his overall character is just really jovial and he's excited all the time. He's full of energy. He's got a great kid as well. He's also full of that same love. So he's the other one. The last person I will have to say is, in terms of role model, it's quite an obvious one, but I'll say Sir Alex Ferguson. And the reason why it's Sir Alex Ferguson is because the guy's ambition to win was just crazy. Like, you could not stop him on any level whatsoever. All he wanted to do was win. All he wanted to do was improve players. And more than anything, the one thing that I've always tried to have is the relationship that he's had with the majority of his players. You hear about Ronaldo saying, he had a big game coming up and his father was severely ill. And if anyone has watched any Ronaldo show or documentary or whatever, you've heard about his father and all the problems that his father had. And Ronaldo was a key member of that team, and he said, listen, football doesn't matter, you need to go and see your family. And there's so many other players, past and present, that can tell you that had a working experience with Alex Ferguson, that they felt that he was like a second father to them. And that's very important, because when I work with kids, I don't want to be just a fun coach. I want them to understand that also they can look at me, not as their father, but as a figure they can also look to for respect. That they can say, because I think, Abdi, you'll know with me, just as well as me, sorry. Back in the days when we used to go and play football, our parents could just leave us to the coaches and go. There was no care in the world. You didn't have to worry about any of your children, because you knew they were fine and you knew they would stay disciplined under that character. These days, times have changed and parents are a lot more different to our parents back then now. So, when parents bring their children over, or their teenagers over, depending on age, they still stay, even if it was their 10th, 11th, 50th session with me, they'll still stay, because even though they know I'm respectful and I'm authoritative, there's always this uncertainty about, can I leave my child with someone? It's not the same these days. But that's why I like Andrew, that's why I mentioned him, because when I go to his sessions with him, there's not a parent in sight. They drop their kids and they're out. 3 hours, we don't see them. And they come back, pick up their kids, we have a laugh and a joke with them, then they're gone. And that's why I went. And of course, if we get to the higher levels, of course, changing teams every 3 years, the success levels, we all saw it from United and Ferguson. So I think those three would be my role models.
That's, that is really spot on. What I like about your three choices is it's got three different elements that are very, very important for any football coach out there to know and learn about. So the first example that you used was about how obsessed you have to be to not just about the game itself, but like everything that goes into it. You have to put in hours. This is something that we've seen with Bielsa. Before he got that Leeds United job, he watched like a whole season of their football matches in just 8 hours before he had the interview with them. This is like, just because they said to him, like, we're interested in signing you, he then watched all of their games before he even had the interview. Now, that is preparation. Without preparation, you're getting ready to fail. That's something that's very important for any football coach, to prepare. And not only that, you have to be... There's no other word to describe it. You have to be obsessed with it. You have to be in it 24/7. That's just the life of a coach. Because at the end of the day, when you're a football player, you just play the 90 minutes and you move on. Now, the second example that you used was about timekeeping and learning how or when to say no, when to say yes, and picking the right opportunities. You can't just say yes to everything there is. You can't try to solve every problem there is. You have to learn to delegate. Now that's where we go on to Sir Alex Ferguson. He learned how to delegate. He didn't coach every single time. He always had an assistant coach there with him. He always used to change his assistant coaches, like the football players. So from Brian Kidd to the guy who coached Newcastle and England. I'm forgetting his name.
McLaren, yeah.
Yes, and then the Portuguese guy, and then Mike Phelan. Yeah. So he always managed to develop his coaching sessions like that, because that way the players don't get tired of you. So that's another important aspect that you mentioned. And this is where my question is going to come in. His relationship with the players was always very clear. Yeah. He could tell them what he needs from them. He could tell Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, for example, you don't play today, but guess what? In 2-3 weeks, you're going to be playing. That is something that he always had he had that in his game. He used to always motivate it. Now, for any grassroots football coach out there, how important is it that they install this kind of connection, communication from young age, even as young as like 11 years old?
It's probably the most key thing you can do. I don't think any person can have a great relationship with any of their players at any level if they don't build something personal. You don't have to know everything about their life, but you have to have them. You have to install confidence in them that they can have in you to be able to come to you about anything, because they're still human beings. That's what we forget sometimes as football fans when we're watching all these other players. We criticize them, they're going through, but we don't know what they're going through. Justin Lingard was going through mental health issues. He was telling them, he was very open about it. Jack Wilshere, he's criticized for that. He had a great performance against Barcelona and did nothing with it, and he was always injured. There was always this. He was going through a lot in his life in general, and he's mentioned it. That's why he struggled to get back on the football pitch. So but what I haven't heard from these guys is this coach helped me do this or this coach helped me do that. And I feel like that's where we're lacking in football now. I don't know if many coaches are able to build the relationships with these players. So if I reference Andrew again, for example, because I see him every Saturday and every Sunday, every young talent there from the age of 5 to the age of 12 are always capable and happy to go to Andrew. They go to Mr. S, because his last name begins with an S. They go to Mr. S and they'll say, or Coach S, and they'll say, this is the problem, this person makes me feel uncomfortable, I'm not happy with this, I don't believe I'm good at this, can you help me improve this? Because they feel open to. And because they have that, their parents can now come to Mr. S and say, my child is doing this, or this is happening in life, wherever, and this is the kind of thing that you need to build. So for me, I think building the relationship is the most key thing. If you have a strong relationship with them and they believe in you and they have confidence in you, when it comes to the football pitch, they'll play for you. When they play for you, they'll do anything to make sure that you are happy at the end of the game, because they know if they always win, lose or draw, you have their back. And you want to feel that they have the same for you, that you are their coach and they'll have their back. I'll give you an example for me. Yeah. When I worked in Hillingdon, there was one game when one of the opposition coaches basically abused me. Now, in that time, I was very, very rattled because we had just played a game. There was no issue whatsoever. My team won the game 2-1. Shook hands with the other team's players, and I thought everything was fine. And then we're sitting down just talking, and you could hear him saying the most disgusting things coming out of his mouth. My players stood up and they ran towards him. I had to stop them from turning it into something else. But within that moment alone, I then realized that this whole squad has love for me because they know I have love for them. They believe in me because I believe in them. I have their confidence because I put all my confidence in them, and I show it week in and week out. Simply based on the fact that we are able to talk comfortably, we coach comfortably, I take their opinions on board, and I always ask them questions because my opinion as a coach is just as important as their opinions as players. Because I can delegate I can talk to them about what we're going to do in training. I can explain to them why they have to improve this. But they're the guys that go on the pitch and get the work done. And that's why it's so important to build these relationships. And that happens in any walk of life. You ain't gonna, have your employees' confidence if you as the employer don't give them the confidence either. So yeah, that's for me, it's the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. In terms of the tactical approach to games, how do you focus on development for the players that you coach? Is it like, let's say a player is having like a bad moment, or they're going through a bad spell, like for example a striker who's not scoring goals? What is specific things do you focus with them to make sure that they can improve that, but also they don't lose their confidence?
When it comes to players that are going through a bad spell, for me, I'm not gonna lie to you, I always tell them there's not much I can do, because I will continue to play you, I'll give you game time. I drop players based on the fact that, okay, you can have bad games, but if you come to training and you're not working hard in training, that's when you give me the reason to not play you in the next game. So if you score a hat-trick on Sunday, but from Tuesday to Saturday you're training like rubbish, and the other striker is doing his thing and he's training hard and he's ready for the game, I'm not interested in playing you on the Sunday. It doesn't make sense to me to play you on the Sunday. So let me think. I'm trying to think of someone, if I had someone that's had a level of confidence drop as a striker anyway, because obviously other positions. Okay, this is a lot more younger, but this is a 9-year-old. And this 9-year-old used to score goals for fun. When I say score goals for fun, I mean he went on a spell of like 10 games and he scored 40 goals. It was ridiculous. Sometimes I'll stand there, and for me, I'm like, what do I even coach you at this point? Because you're doing
is that the original Haaland?
Yeah, exactly. Like free kicks, he'll score. Headers, he'll score. Tap-ins, the movement. I didn't have to coach him anything. But when it came to him not scoring anymore, his head was always down at the end of the game, even if his team won. And on one side, I like that because contribute to that win. That's a good mentality to have. But on the other side, you got to also understand that you're not going to always contribute in every game, and that's okay. So that's it. Same thing I just said then. That's what I said to him, and he still didn't buy into that, because as a striker, all you want to do is score goals. That's natural. That's your thing to do. So what I did with him was, what I said was, I want you, and this is my favorite thing to do, I always say, I want you to go through on YouTube, because I know you guys spend ages on your consoles and your computers and your laptops. Yeah. Go on YouTube and just watch strikers and forget about the best ones. Go for the ones that don't score very often. So I say go for like Marcus Bent, go for Cameron Jerome. And the reason I mention those names is because those guys, no matter how average their goal return was in relation to games, they started every game ready to go out there and give their best 100%. So I always hear this thing in football about people are confidence players. Everyone is a confidence player. Lionel Messi is a confidence player, because if Lionel Messi doesn't feel like Lionel Messi, he's not going to perform like Lionel Messi. That's just the truth. Exactly, so, Cristiano Ronaldo at one time at Real Madrid did not score for 9 games. He was being ridiculed. Yeah. And then he went on a spell of scoring for the rest of the whole damn season and won Champions League. Yeah. Just believe that it will come. Don't get too much into your head, because when you get too much into your head, forget about goal scoring now, everything else in your game goes. And you're not able to perform at the same level. And he didn't score for about 4 or 5 games. But at the 5th game, his head was up by the end of the game. And that's when in my head I was like, okay, he's getting it now. Now he's starting to get it, because he's starting to build that confidence. And I kid you not, in the next 6 games, hat-trick, 2 goals, hat-trick, 1 goal, hat-trick. And I'm standing there, I'm just like, do you see this guy? Like, do you see him? This is a talent. Like, this is a kid I don't have to do anything with anymore. So with confidence and with players that just go through barren spells, the best thing you can do is, as cliche as it sounds, is just be there for them. And just explain to them that it will come, and show them that you still have confidence in them as your striker. If you show that, every match, every game, even if they go down, if they exit the game with their head down, the next game they're going to be ready to go into the next game and try to score as many goals as possible. And that's the best you can ask for. at any level. So just be there for them, really.
Absolutely. In terms of when you were going through your football coaching, when you were getting started at first, what was that process like? Because right now you're fully qualified, fully licensed football FA coach. What was that process like, and how long did it take you?
I think so. It took me a lot more longer than it should have. I'm not gonna lie to you, and that's partly my fault to blame. I'll tell you when I got the wake up call. I went to the Raise Your Game event that they usually hold at the Emirates. Yeah, every summer I believe it was, and I was talking to Rodney Hines.
Yeah,
and we're just talking because he's more of the media side. So we're just talking about football, and that's the time when Man United were looking to sign Jose Mourinho after Van Gaal. So,
okay.
And at that time I wanted Mourinho. So he said, "Explain to me why you want Mourinho over Van Gaal, whatever." So we're there 10 minutes going back and forth, just talking about it. And then he was like, "Oh, by the way, so what do you do?" I was like, "I'm a football coach." He goes, "What level you at?" And at that time I was only at level 2. And he was like, "What the hell are you doing at level 2? All these years coaching and you're only on level 2. What the hell's wrong with you?" And in my head, I was like, because I said to him, because I'm trying to do more coaches to get more experience. So when I do the UEFA B eventually, I feel a lot more comfortable doing it. He goes, "That's not how it works. If you keep resting on your laurels, you're going to sit there thinking, how much have I learned before it's time to go? You will learn on the course. Go for it. Improve as a coach. You will do the course and you'll still coach." So I don't want to hear that anymore, because coaching and not looking to go to the next level, what's the point? You will do the next level, you will study it, but you'll still be coaching anyway. So you're going to be learning.
Learn on the course, yeah. I love that. I love that. Yeah.
And the days when you're not on the course, you're going to be coaching anyway. So what the hell are you talking about? And I sit there, I was like, I've been foolish. Like, he's actually right. This is dumb. What am I doing here? So literally the next day, I started looking for my UFB course, found it, boom, went from there. And that's what it was. So it took me a lot more longer than it should have, if I'm being honest. And anyone that will listen to this, I would say, if you're aspiring to be a coach, when you do your level 1, the first thing they tell you is you need to spend about 2 years coaching before you go into your level 2. That is absolute BS. Approach your level 2 when you're ready. If you feel like you're ready within 6 months, you got your certificate, you're like, I want to go to the next level, do it. There will be some people that will say, you're not ready, you're not this, you're not that. Keep applying until you get that spot, and then you go and do it. That's as simple as it gets. Don't waste time. If you believe in your coaching ability, why would you waste time? Now you can look at people like Nagelsmann, who is 30 something, about to hit Bayern Munich. He's at Leipzig doing well already. OJ Villas-Boas, how young was he at Porto, winning the Europa League, and then he went to Chelsea, he went to Tottenham, he went to Marseille. These are good clubs. People call him an average coach. He's a good coach. People forget he started at a very young age, and he left home to go and learn elsewhere. You can do it wherever you want, whenever you want to. Just believe in yourself. I'm 28 now, so I'm looking. If I'm being honest with you, my goal is at 40. I want to be on the touchline of a professional club as the manager, because I know there's a way to build up. There's a hierarchy, and I'm prepared to go through that. Also, at the as a black man, you know already. That kind of thing.
We're gonna get into that. Black coaches in football, definitely. But I wanted to come back to this point now. You said that you spent a year in Spain. Tell me about that experience. How different was it to being in England? What have you learned from being abroad? Because a whole year abroad is a long time, from away from family, from friends.
I'll tell you what though, that was minus the boss. So I got 2 jobs there. I did the coaching job, but I also did a job teaching English speaking.
Okay.
So minus the boss that I had for English speaking, because all the kids I had there, or the adults that I helped learn some English as well, teach some English as well, minus him, it was the most incredible experience of my life. And I mean that. So what had happened was, I was working as a PE teacher at that time, before Spain, and I was quite frankly getting bored of my job. I wasn't happy. No matter how much money I was earning, I just didn't care. So I started looking for jobs, and I got an email from Oxford International, and one of the guys from there said that there's someone in Spain looking for someone to come there and teach English speaking. Yeah. So in my head, I was like, I've always wanted to go abroad. If I can go and do this job to earn money, and also going to approach football clubs there and try and learn, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I sent an email, and within 2 days we negotiated everything, and he said, "Get ready." I was like, perfect. I did everything. I got my ticket ready. That's when after I bought my ticket, then I told my family that I was going, because I was like, if I don't book the ticket, what they're gonna do is gonna try and get me out of it, and then or complain or whatever. I thought, no, let me get the ticket done. Tell them that I'm going. This is why I'm going, and that's a done deal. And I did everything by myself. I went to Calahorra, which is a small city in Spain. So I went to a place where very, very, very little people speak English. Like this much compared to the whole city. This much people speak English. So I traveled to Zaragoza by myself, and then I took a coach from there to Calahorra. To this day, I don't know how I found it. I was very lucky. And after that, I spent my days going between Calahorra to Zaragoza or Calahorra to Bilbao. And I was just going like this all the time. When I had the chance on the weekend, I'd go to Barcelona and just walk around. If I found a training session, I'd just stand there and watch. Yeah. And then I went on 2 occasions. I went to Madrid, did the same thing.
They have open training sessions in Spain. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So the reason why it was the best experience for me is because I learned a whole new culture. You can watch as many La Liga games as you want. You can go to as many professional games in stadiums as you want. Everyone knows we're going to either the Bernabeu or the Camp Nou for the main attractions. But if you really want to learn about how they develop players, how they nurture players, the relationships between clubs, the way they train players in certain ways, and the way more than ever, when they come to a session, it's not like, in this country, it's sort of like, for example, I don't know if it, actually no, it is kind of like the same now for me at my age as well, but if you're fast and you've got a nice left peg or right peg, you're a winger or a striker. If you're tall and strong, you're a centre back. All that kind of stuff. They don't care about all of that there. I think everyone's heard about the technical training in Spain, right? You're not shoehorned into a position straight away. You are a player. You are a player first and foremost, and we'll work on every aspect of your game. And then we'll find you a position that works with your best attributes. If we figure out your best attributes, we know what position to put you in. Then we'll teach you about tactics. Because if you're going to play in a 2 or a 3, as a centre back, for example, at the back, you're going to know how to be comfortable in either formation, because you've seen it. For example, Matt Doherty, who was one of the best right wing backs for Wolves, has become an absolute stinker at right back for Tottenham. And what is the difference in positions like this? So why is it not working? Why has he failed in a back 4, but in a back 5 he was one of the best? What is the difference? They don't allow that in Spain. You'll be comfortable in every role, in every formation, no matter the situation. And if you're a goalkeeper, they'll train you as a player also, but they never ever neglect your goalkeeping ability. And that's why one of my favourite goalkeepers, I mean, minus about 5 years when he was at Liverpool, was Pepe Reina. Because we talk about all these guys that can pass now and long range passing. When he got a ball from a goal kick in his hands, he looks up straight away, 1-2, 1-2, and the way he would zing that ball forward, you go from defense to attack like that. And that was in the noughties. We get excited about that now. He was doing that then because the training was high level from there, and it's been everywhere else. And this is where English football is now catching up. But we're so far behind that every time something new happens, we try to get used to it and it doesn't work. So that's why I love Spanish football so much. And if I had the opportunity in the future to go back there and work there again, I will take it with open arms, because the education I got there in a year was worth 6 of the years that I got here.
Wow.
Honestly.
Yeah. I love that, because you said that they teach you how to play roles, not positions. So you're comfortable to play wherever that they put you in. You get the ball in tight positions or whatever. It's always looking after the ball. You see small players, short players like Andres Iniesta, David Silva doing so well for them. Now, in terms of this country, England, and what they're doing things right now, the way they're doing things is a little bit different. You see players that are coming through like Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, for so many years now, James Maddison, so many creative players, Jesse Lingard, and also as well, Jack Wilshere was ahead of his time as well. So you're seeing players being developed in a completely different way. But where do you balance? How do you balance out between a player who wants to express himself, but then you don't want to make them feel like they have to pass the ball. You don't want to make them feel like they're showing off, because like me and you, we've been to games. Like I've been to games so many times where one of the kids was being called selfish, but all he was trying to do was finding solutions all the time. But I don't want to tell him like pass the ball every time that he gets the ball. I want him to express himself so that he has the opportunity to be free. Where do you stand on that? How do you balance it out?
The one thing I explain to kids that come into the game is decision making. That's what I care about. You can be physically strong, you can be technically gifted in terms of dribbling, in terms of your passing. Your decision making is key. Arsene Wenger said it best right now. The current state of football is becoming more about athleticism and speed. Decision making is kind of going out the window. But for me, he's right, because you're seeing more footballers like that. But on the other side, the best players still have the most elite decision making. So they do things at the right place at the right time. That's why I teach those guys. So for me, it's like this. We've got a young guy called John right now on Saturdays and Sundays. I say to him, listen, you're explosive, you're a good finisher, but sometimes you need to pick your moments right. But when he does it in games, I never scream at him, you should have passed, you should have done this. No, it doesn't help him. I tell him, think about your situation. You've been in this situation before. Think about what will be the best option and always have your head up. That's simple. That sounds so simple. It sounds so simple, it sounds so basic. But that's what football is. Football is a simple game. We can talk about you can talk about the technicalities, but football is a simple game. Yeah. At the end of the day, yes, if you've got the ability, yes, of course, we know all that hullabaloo. But at the end of the day, if you keep your head up, you know where everyone is. That's number one. Number two, if you're back to goal, you look left, you look right over your shoulder, be aware of your environment. After that, you're done. Number three, if you're in a situation where you're not being supported by someone, unfortunately, you're going to have to try and dribble out of it. All these things in game, you will learn. If I scream them at you, you're not learning anything. You have to go through these experiences to make you better. And then hopefully you will take them on board and help them in your mind, because I can tell you, did you see this? Did you see this situation? But unless you understand yourself, you're not going to grow as a player. I'm not always going to be there for him. John's with me now. Yeah. John's going to leave me in about 2 years. Yeah. If he goes to his other coach and says he hasn't learned anything from me, I failed I failed. But also the coach is going to look at him and say, it's not only your coach. You should think about what you're doing on the pitch also, because if you want to get better, you're going to have to improve on things that you know you can improve on. On Sunday, unfortunately, I couldn't make the game, but my cousin P is also a coach, and he was telling me, there was in a situation where usually he would shoot 9 times out of 10. He picked his head up and found the perfect pass, and it led to 2 goals in both situations because he learned. And Pete didn't tell him to do that. I didn't tell him to do that. But what I'm telling him is very simple. But in his mind, as simple as it is, he now has to allow it to blow up in his mind and let it spread and think of many different ideas that will help in the situations. So that, yes, your teammates will complain, they will moan, but you're giving them reasons to start respecting what you're doing on the pitch, because you're changing your decision from the wrong to the absolute correct. Yeah. And that's what it is. At the same time, instinctive. Players will do what they feel is best in that moment. So, you hear people on Twitter or football fans screaming at Mason Greenwood, for example. Why didn't he shoot? Why didn't he pass the ball to Marcus Rashford? He's so selfish. He's a striker. He was born and raised as a striker. When he gets near the box, he's doing step overs 2 or 3 times, and he's going to get onto his left or right and hit it at the goal because he's a striker. That's his natural instinct. You cannot be mad at that, because if he scores that, you're talking about what a fantastic goal. So do not be upset at someone expressing themselves. They're not going to learn if you scream no, or the worst thing you can do is take away their natural instincts. The thing that makes them the player that you want them to become. Because when he was coming through the youth ranks, you were talking about the goals he was scoring, the number of goals he was scoring, the technique.
Yeah.
He's at the senior level now. It's at a higher level, so it's a bit more difficult. But instead of encouraging him to maximize what he's good at, you're telling him to take away what he's got there and do something else. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Let these guys express themselves. Let them really enjoy their football. When they enjoy their football and express themselves, what they're good at gets 10 times better, and then you have an awesome player. And that's how I let them. That's how I let them train. But personally,
I agree with you 100%. All 3 steps that you mentioned right now, very, very important. Obviously, this video is going to be on YouTube, so you can play back, these 3 videos. Make sure that you're taking notes and you're learning all the time, because this is very important if you're trying to become a coach, or if you're just trying to learn more about the game and trying to understand the mindset of a football player. Because right now, Kojo, I have to be honest with you, I'm really worried about the state of the game. You look at social media. Right now has allowed people to have voices without consequences. They're able to abuse players, they're able to abuse managers, they're able to do whatever they want without getting away. Right now, this week, we are in the 27th. Today was the 27th of April, so on Friday there's a planned boycott of social media from all football clubs and sports. Whether that's going to make a lot of difference remains to be seen. But now, if you look at, for example, the players like you were talking about now, like Mason Greenwood or Rashford, like a player is being told to, like, if you make one wrong decision, it's scrutinized a lot. Like they go from young age, where, let's be honest, the level right now under 23 Premier League is horrible. It's disgusting. It's hard to watch. I find it unbelievable. I would rather watch the under 18s because there's some hope there. But once they reach the under 23 level, there's a bit of a comfort there because they have a contract. They made it into the name, into the limelight. So they're able to, even if they don't get a contract at, let's say, a big club, they can get in a championship club where they can live with a happy life, good life, So there's not that much passion there. That's why I can't watch under 23 football. But under 18s football, there's a bit more ambition there. You can see them growing. But imagine, you go from under 18s to the first level where you're watched by millions. You're scrutinized every single week. How do you prepare the players mentally to be able to deal with that in the future?
You know what? It's weird because social media, no matter what you do right now, it's hard to escape it. Truth be told, I'm not gonna lie to you, I hate social media. I absolutely despise it. So as I've told you before, I don't use my personal, I use my podcast Twitter, because I know with that one, all I can do is tweet about games, tweet about podcasts, a few opinions here and there, and it's calm. When it's a personal account, people get personal with you. That's very different. And I hate it because you can't talk about football on a basic level and get away with it. And I'll say this, if fans can get onto normal people, and I say normal people because footballers are normal people as well, but I'm going to differentiate onto from normal people, citizens, on social media for anything, footballers are not safe at all. I encourage people to not talk on social media too much and not to post on social media too much. And the reason why I do that is because, look, you can post it even if you have a bad game. If Rashford has a bad game and he doesn't post anything for the next 6 weeks, what people will do is go into one of his old posts and post racist stuff on there anyway. There's no escaping it. And the one thing you don't want to have to do is stop comments on your social media and that, because not everything is negative. But unfortunately, the negative ones always stand out. That's how social media works. That's what it is. Me personally, I hate it. And I just tell guys, look, when it comes to games and all that, just ignore it. Don't waste your time on it. If you want to do something, go on your Facebook where it's just your friends. Go on your Snapchat where it's just your friends. Don't waste your time with Twitter. Don't waste your time with Instagram, because you know what's going to happen with these ones. More so to the point, actually, I've encouraged a lot more to have burner accounts. Have burner accounts. And, you know, make it a smaller account where you follow just certain people. You lock that account so it's private. And on your main account where you're verified and everything, let your team run it. Because all these footballers now have teams. They have people that'll do it for them. Let them run it, post your stuff, and then leave it. Forget about it. Don't even look at it. Because it's there for a reason. I know it's there for a reason for you to make money.
Even Joe Hart has a social media team, and he doesn't even play football. Like, how many games has he played this season? I'm just thinking, like, it's ridiculous. Why do you need a social media team?
When you have to both.
But that's why, because of the abuse.
That's literally what it is. No matter what you do, you'll get criticized for something. And that's why I brought up the example of normal ones, because do you know Mel Ceballos, the Tottenham fan?
Yes.
She made a video.
She's great, I have to say. Yeah, great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. Yeah. She's wonderful. And she made a video telling Arsenal fans to go chat to Brighton or Fulham. How many times in our lives have we mocked teams for losing to others or being near others and telling them that's your level? That's normal banter. That's
normal, It's normal. Yeah.
But look at how she's been torn into for that normal video. It's her fault that Spurs have gone down the toilet. Is this and that. Ever since everyone runs that banter normal. My co-host Kale was an Arsenal fan. Do you not think I rip onto him every day about the state of his club? He rips onto Man United as well. It's normal.
It's just how it is. It's football banter. Like, come on.
Exactly. It's football banter.
But it's different when it's a woman. You know, it's like you can't have an opinion if you're a woman. In football, there's just something that makes these guys so angry if they see a woman talking about football. And I'm just thinking, like, when I see someone like Alex Scott being given the job that she recently got in the BBC Football Focus, it's amazing. For me, she deserves even a better job, because she is one of the best pundits, football analysts that I've seen in this country for so many years.
But when she got the job, people had the absolute nerve to ask the question, what has she achieved in football?
Oh my God.
And in my head I was like, you know what, I don't have to even want to mention about what she's actually done in the women's game. Dan Walker, the former host, what had he done in football?
What has he done? Exactly.
But he was hosting that for how many years? Were you talking? Were you complaining?
So many years. Nobody was complaining. Everybody just thought, it's normal, because he's just a white man hosting the show. But
Alex Scott runs it, and now it's what have you done in football? She's done a lot more than what you've done in football, complaining on behind your Twitter. So, like, you're right. With women, it's tenfold. Anita, part of football, Chelsea fan.
Yes.
She was asked, what was Lionel Messi's star sign?
Oh, wow.
What does that matter? I don't understand. This is my point.
Goodness.
So see examples like this, whether I work with men or women, because I've worked with girls and women as well in football, and I always say the same thing: forget social media. I don't even want to hear about it. Don't post anything. Don't talk about it. Ignore it. Don't open the app. Hide the app. Whatever. Just ignore it. Like on my phone, I've removed it from the home screen. So if I'm going to open Twitter, I have to search it on my phone to open the app, because I don't want to hear anything from the app. You know what I'm saying? For me, it's very simple.
Yeah.
And that's how I do things. So, me, social media, I just tell guys to ignore it. I know it's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's not easy. It's hard, because that's this generation Z, as they call it. Now, if we just move on to when it comes to black managers in the game, you know, people like Darren Moore, Chris Hughton, we don't have that many. If you can just when I see someone like you who has gone through the process, who has ambition to be on that touchline by the age of 40. For me personally, I think you can even do it way before that. But we all know the obstacles that there is as a black man in this country to get that kind of opportunity. obviously it's very important. We all know that, but how can we encourage more kids when they are not given the chance to become professional football players, to not just give up on the game completely, but to know that there is something else for them here, whether it is in coaching, whether it is in refereeing, in journalism, that there's always something involved in the game for them?
I always make a point, and I don't care whether it's in front of black kids, white kids, Asian kids, mixed race, I don't care, wherever, the race, religion, whatever. I always make a point of trying to find videos, links, and interviews with coaches of color, because whether people want to hear it or not, you will find a white coach, a white journalist, a white pundit in every level, on TV, everywhere. You don't have to search. Search for what? They're there everywhere, right? So that doesn't need education. But there's black people and Asian people, mixed race, whatever, different religions in the game of football. There's Muslim women that are killing it in the podcast game. So there's no one that can tell you that you can't do these same things. There's no one that can tell you. They are trendsetters. Not saying that's wrong. Trendsetters is wrong because it's not a trend. They are, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah,
is it
examples.
Yeah, examples. They are exactly the examples that you want to follow. Yeah. That's the best way to describe it. Thank you. They are the examples you want to follow. Once they start doing it and they're killing it, that shows you that you are also capable of doing the same thing. We always say, but if you start a podcast about football, how many podcasts do football? How many podcasts do this? It's about how good you are. If I thought that, I wouldn't be doing Free in Midfield. Free in Midfield was by me and two of my closest friends, essentially my brothers, wanting to talk about football and analyze games. We did it out of the blue. We are followed by Jordan Brand from Channel 4, Arsenal fan, on TV, on Lot 4, Channel 4 News, doing his thing. He's followed by us. I get onto his podcast, comes on our podcast. Stel, who is part of Shoot the Defense, has interviewed Paul Pogba before, Heskey, all these guys on his show, right? Yeah. Linked up to us straight away. Suddenly, on my own personal Instagram, Rodney Hines, Darren Lewis, all these guys are following me. I'm like, how the hell do they know who I am? But my podcast is there because we're just allowing our content to be what it is. We enjoy it. We believe it's unique on our side. And more importantly, when you hear it, you can hear that we love to do it and we love the game that we're talking about.
Absolutely.
It comes back to that same
I like your, when you say in your intro, three guys that used to they used to play football.
We had to, I'm not gonna lie to you, we had to change that intro. For anyone, I don't know if I should promote this, but hey, if you want to hear the original intro, I think go up to about episode 50 and you'll understand why we had to change it.
I'm gonna check it out.
Check it out, because actually, so one of our closest friends, he's in a wheelchair, and when we were doing the intro, he co-signed it. He's like, no, I want to hear this, I want this to happen because I want to say it like this. But after he left and because he was saying it, someone kindly pointed out to us that the intro that we said might be ableist. So I was like, and my boy Kojo just changed it because he's the one that came out the intro as a whole anyway. So we changed it out for him. But I mean, my guy Darren, he loved it. So that was.
I love it, man.
Yeah. So now it's how's it go again? Welcome to the Free Midfield podcast. The free. It's fumble it. Welcome to the Free Midfield podcast. Three friends who had dreams of being professional footballers. That's the way as children, when we all discovered food, have their say on the Premier League. Yeah. So Look.
Yeah, I love it.
There's always a window for you guys to do something.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of, when I was growing up, there are a lot of people that were disrespected. People from Africa, and I will say this in particular, people from Somalia were particularly disrespected, and I never understood why.
Yeah.
Religions, I don't know why there were religion wars or anyone talking about any religion. Religion is religion. You believe in what you believe in. Respect each other's beliefs. Simple as that. Everyone has a window to do something, and if you feel like someone's doing something but it's not there's a space where someone hasn't taken advantage of, jump on it. I'll tell you right now, Abdi, for the Euros, me and Kim have got something planned already, and we believe that no one else is doing it. But when you hear it, it's going to be like, oh, that's very simple.
Yeah.
But we believe that no one else doing it yet, so we're going to try and take advantage of that. You know, so just believe in what you're doing and go for it, man. Don't let anyone hold you back.
Yeah. I love that. That's how you have to be. And you know, so this video today, man, this interview has been it's been educational for me to get to know you, to get to know what makes a great coach. And you know what? I have to say that I cannot wait to see your journey, where you go from here, where you go next, you know, all the plans that you have for the future. And I just have quick fire questions here before we finish.
All right.
I actually planned it for it to be like only 30 minutes, but such is the depth of the conversation that we had that we're almost going to an hour now. So it's great. It's fantastic. So here's the first question. I think I know the answer to this question, but I still have to ask. I ask this any coach. Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho?
Oh, bloody hell, man. Bloody hell. You know what? I'll actually use Mourinho.
Yeah, Jose Mourinho.
I want to get slaughtered for that one, but I'll say he's Mourinho.
Okay, Mourinho, yeah. Right. Win 1-0 or win 4-3?
1-0.
Yeah, same.
I hate conceding goals. Conceding one goal annoys me enough as it is. So 3. No. 1-0. 1-0's good.
Yeah, I would rather win 1-0, or if I have to between 2-1 and 3-1, I'd rather win 2-1 because I don't want to see my team conceding 2 times. It's just the way it is. Okay, this is an interesting one. Would you rather lose 1-0 in 5 different games or lose 5-0 in one game?
So 5 losses or 1? I'm thinking 1 loss. 5-0.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 1 loss. I'm not using 5 games. 5-0 loss is fine. We'll win the rest.
That's it. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like, especially, you know, me and you were both United fans. When United lost that 6-2 to Tottenham, I was thinking, you know what? This is just a wake-up call. I'm happy that it's out of the way. The players can just wake up now. Oli can understand finally that he can't go with Pogba and Fred in midfield. Just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to put 2 men in there because the defense is not good enough to play by themselves.
That's it.
So if I have to lose 5-0 in one game, rather than losing in 1-0, like Liverpool have been going on since January, I would rather just lose it one time and move on. I like that, yeah.
I agree.
It's humiliation, but I like it. All right. This is another question. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo. I don't sound too sure, do I?
No, you don't.
You know what? Just because Messi is obviously the better player, but the time about Ronaldo's drive that gets me every time is that determination is just scary for me. So I'll take it. But I know Messi's the superior footballer. Trust me, but I'll still take Ronaldo.
Yeah. Same here. Well, not technically. I, as much as I love Ronaldo for what he has done for United all of these years, and to see the journey that he went through with United to become a world star, I love him for that. But I cannot, for just the ability that Messi has, I cannot choose anyone other than Messi. This is the last question. Favorite league to watch? I'm assuming it's probably Spain.
La Liga.
Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
That's too easy for me.
Yeah. Now, for me right now, it's the Italian league. It changes for me every year. So it was the Spanish league. Last year, I really enjoyed watching the German league. But now this year, I'm enjoying the title race. Not the title race, but the top 4 race in Italy at the moment is just heating up. And that's one of the things that we talk about in our podcasts. So if you're into European football, guys, make sure that you check out our previous videos. You're going to love it. So Today, this is all we got time for. Unfortunately, I would love to talk to Kojo as even longer than this, but unfortunately, we have to go. We've got a game to watch. Real Madrid and Chelsea are playing, and I have to go break my fast as well. So that's all we got time for today. Kojo, thank you so much for coming on, mate, and taking the time to come on. I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. And you guys are doing a wonderful thing with your podcast as well. So keep it going, because we need more podcasts, especially with our people in it, you know what I'm saying? And you're one of us, you know what I'm saying? So keep it going, and everyone that hasn't subscribed yet, you better subscribe quick, because it's good content.
That's it, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. All the good things to do. And until next time, take care, guys.